Hello and welcome to this tutorial for this Enderman XP and Enderpearl Farm. Now this is basically a bit of a rehash of the DocM version. I've seen it around in lots and lots of places, but the version that I remember is the DocM 77 version. And basically it's using the endermite in the centre of the farm there to give us a hyper efficient farm. So we'll just go up and have a little look at this. We've got a few stragglers down at the bottom there. But yeah, this is the kind of thing that we're talking about. All of these endermen flying into the middle, going straight down the chute, getting ready to process at the bottom. It's the first time I've actually had a build of one like this, and the previous one which I used the string and the pistons, but that's absolutely nothing compared to this. These guys are crazy. So we'll just go have a quick look inside and see what you think. So here you go, this is the tunnel going in, and this is the collection point at the bottom here. Absolutely packed with them. Probably getting a little bit of lag on my computer now because of them. If I just run a quick command and say kill at e type equals enderman and run that kills all of the endermen, and we should see these guys come flying down here any second now. Yeah, there we go, because I just cleared all of the spawning possibilities and there you go, it's full again. It's absolutely crazy. So let's go ahead and get on with having a go at building this. Right, so we're going to start off from the very beginning, and that's finding your end portal, getting to the end and all that kind of thing. For anybody who's not interested in that, I'll put a little annotation in here so that you can skip forward and just get straight down to the building. But first things first, you're going to need a load of Eye of Ender. Normally 12 will do the job. You make Eye of Ender with blaze powder and ender pearls. So you got your Eye of Ender, you start off somewhere that looks good, normally a nice open area like this, and you right click into the air and you watch where it goes and you follow it. And you hope it doesn't break like that, because you can get multiple uses out of this. Now, you don't want to be just following it exactly to there and then letting it break, because that's not going to be very economical with the Eye of Ender. So you normally want to go about maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 blocks beyond where it broke or where it stopped moving, and then have another try. And that way you should get the most from your Eye of Enders. That's interesting, it seems to come back to me. Or it didn't travel that far. But we'll see. So here we go. So it looks like we've arrived. It's pretty close to here somewhere. I'm sort of just waiting for them to start going behind me again. It's not in, oh, okay, so that went straight down basically. Right, so when it starts going straight down, it means that you're on the right location. You've got various issues with this, but you know, you have to work with what you're given. In 1.8, I think you get 3 strongholds around your world, and in 1.9 they sort of made loads more of them, so there's plenty of them around in 1.9, but 1.8 you only really get 3. So I'm just going to go down, I'm going to switch into game mode 3 and just go down and get into the ender portal. Right, that actually took quite a while to find. Now, you might see here that there's some blocks in the door. I didn't put them there. This is just, there's actually no entrance to this room whatsoever. So, yeah, this is a really messed up render. It's just come in at a really strange place. There's no entrance to the room just sits on its own. It's above a library, so you know, if you're doing this in survival, I actually don't know how you'd find it. You'd probably give up and start again. But there you go, we found the room. This is the room right here. Now I'm going to just switch back into game mode 1. And right, there we go. I don't need this, so I'm going to break it. And those things are just a pain. They're an absolute pain, good for nothing. Not really a great XP source or anything, so right, if you're lucky this will actually start off with a few Eye of Ender in it already, so we're not that lucky, just 1, that's better than what I've had before. So you're going to need 12 Eye of Ender to actually get this going, and we're off. So there we go, we've turned up straight into the end, and yeah, I'm flying, that's good. So what you're going to want to do is kill the ender dragon first. Either that or block out from here extremely quickly. So I'm just going to run a quick command, just kill everything except myself. At e type equals not player. Done. Whoops, did I do that? Looks like I did. So not rather than 1. There we go, that kills everything. The Ender Dragon's gone, all sorted. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is block out 128 blocks from the edge of the island here. Now I would advise taking it from the furthest out edge. So if you've got a little island like that just sat off the edge, you want it to be 128 out from there, from the edge of that point. Now the reason for that is you don't want anything spawning over on this island whilst you're out on your farm, and that will give you maximum spawn rates out on your farm. So I'm just going to quickly make myself a little runway out there and we'll be back in a moment. So there we go, that's the tunnel which I've built, and I've made it spawn proof inside with the slabs. That's probably the best way of doing it, or you can make the floor out of glass, or you know, you can use various different methods. But on the top here you're going to be getting spawns, and you want to stop that because that will actually reduce the efficiency of your farm. Now you can stop that in several ways. If you make this top out of glass, then they won't spawn on top of here. If you make it out of carpet in 1.9, then they won't spawn on top of here. So another method that you tend to see, which is quite an early game method, is to actually put some water on top. So if I say that to wherever I am with water, right, that's going to change that to water and get rid of that. So I'll just zip along to the end here, and this should stop the spawns. If I just go down, run my command again, and there we go. So that's covered it in water very nicely. That Enderman there, which is taking damage, can't actually find anywhere to teleport to within 32 blocks, and it's stuck right in the middle. So it's just taking damage, and eventually it'll die, because Endermen are adverse to water. If you didn't know that already, that's what this is demonstrating. So the Endermen don't like the water. I quite like the look of this water method. I think it looks kind of nice. One thing that you are going to want to do is sort of cap off the end so that the water doesn't go flowing into your tunnel like that. Anything that you put on this area will actually be taken away again next time you come back through the portal. Now this guy must have been one that teleported down from above, because they shouldn't be able to spawn in here, so it must have teleported in from above to escape the water. Clever fella. Right, so that's our tunnel made. I'll just fill in these last few blocks. Now this is kind of an expensive design. You don't need to go down this line, you just need a way to get away from that main island. 128 blocks from the main island. Now I've ran this out 140 just to make sure that I'm clear of any little outline areas, and as I'm playing in 1.9 there should be more islands out in the far distance there, but they should be about 1,000 blocks away from the main island. So we're out in the middle of nowhere here, we should be getting fantastic spawn rates. Right, so next you're going to want to build up the room where you're going to actually get these Endermen to gather in. So I would say you need a bit of space. You need at least a 16 by 16. It doesn't need to be any particular size, it could be as big or as small as you want, but I just think for comfort you're going to need something around about the 16 by 16 size minimum. Wow, that is some determined water. Right, there we go. So if I do the same on this side, this just makes sure that it doesn't come flowing over. The chances are I'm going to put another water source right on top of this room so that it's all clear as well. So I'm going to build out a platform here, which I'm going to actually make it around about 20 by 20, or because I've got a center point here, I'll make it an odd number. 19 by 19 sounds like a nice number, so I'll make it a 19 by 19 area, so I've got a nice big size to gather everything in and have a couple of chests and bits and bobs. So here we go. And so that's what I've got so far. I've got a nice little box. That's going to be my room where I run along and I come into here, and that's where I'm going to do the killing of the Enderman and get the XP and all that kind of thing. As you can see, these guys are very keen to spawn on here, so we've done it right. We've got a very efficient farm already. You could just run around here and swing your sword and you'd hit about a dozen of them. So we need to make this top spawn proof as well, and you can do that again with the water. I mean, don't think that my design here is going to, yeah, the water's not going to reach all the way out, which is a little bit sad because it'd be nice if it did. So I'm probably going to slab this lot and maybe put some water around the edges just to keep that blue theme on the inside. So I'll cut away now and have a go at that, and we'll see what it looks like. So I just thought I'd show you what I've got so far. This is all slabbed out. I thought I'd show you the ice method as well whilst I've got it on my mind. And I've just put out some ice blocks there, and you can either pop some torches down next to them, or you can just run along with your pickaxe and break them and they turn into water sources. And this is a nice simple way of getting water around the place because you can carry a stack of these quite easily. That's 64 blocks. Right, so that little corner there, I'm just going to pop that in. No, it's not updating it, so I'll put down a new water source and that'll cover it nicely just so it looks right. So I'm just going to quickly zip around and fill in all of this with water, but hopefully you'll find that ice method a little bit useful in the future. It's very useful, I think, that you can carry a stack of water blocks, essentially source blocks, around with you. So there you go, that's it. I've finished up on the top there. I'll just give you a little show of that. That's all of the water sources in, looking good, and back inside. So what we want to do in here is I've created this little slot, and this is centered on the room because, you know, it'd be wrong if it wasn't. So let's see, if I knock out that block there, that's the center point of this slot. And I go across 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter hugely how big this slot is. The thing is that it's just, you know, reasonable size really. So I'm just doing it 9 across, with the center point being right there, right in the middle of the room. So there, yeah. So from there I need to go up 43 blocks. So this being the starting one, so I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've gone up 43 blocks there, at least I think I have, so I'm going to do the same on this side and just make sure that I've got the measurements right. Now, I've got this person right here. They spawned in on this little strip here a few seconds ago, so it's very effective. They really, really want to spawn in here. So I'm just going to make up this pillar and then we'll go to the top and have a little look around. So there we go, that's 2 43 high pillars. Now if you're pretty sure you've made it on one, you still need the other one, so you're going to have to do that one anyway. And look, we're getting spawns down there already. Endermen are spawning in on those few little spots that there are. Now what we need to do is we need to connect this up together and just get ourselves, whoops, a little platform going to begin with. Now this is going to be the slot that the Endermen fall down. So right in the middle of the slot, I need to find the middle of this slot, and this is going to be the center of our platform. So I've got 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 there. So this is the central spot. Now from here, we want to go out 31 in each direction, including this one. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So I'll get on with that and we'll come back in a moment. So this is what you should now have. You should now have a rather large cross centered right on there. So it's 31 counting out from each direction, but counting and including the center block. So all the way across you should have a 61 wide thing in that direction, and same in the other with the center block right there. So now we're going to turn this into a rather large circle, all centered on that one block. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this out, and we need to build it out at, basically you need to go 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's 5 out, not including that central block, and then 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, then 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you got a 2, a 1, 2, a 1, a another 2, and then a 1. So you should have 3 2s and 3 1s, and then before that you should have a 3, a 4 and a 5. So 5 4 3 2 1 2 1 2 1, and you want to do that in all of the directions all the way around, and you should get everything to meet up nicely. It's not absolutely vital that you get this right, it's just nice if you do. It keeps the spawn rates right. Basically you can go a little bit further out than this, and the Enderman will still clear off the platform down the hole. But if you go out too far, you end up with Enderman just stood round on the outside here, not doing anything other than taking up your spawn cap. So let's go ahead and get all that done, and I'll show you what I get before I fill it all in. So that's something like what you should now have, and that's a pretty good circle. It's a very nice circle in my opinion. So just to quickly run over the numbers again, just so that it's very clear. So this is the 31st block out. Then you have 5 blocks outside of that, then 4 blocks there, then 3, then 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And then if you do that right on all of the sides, you'll end up with something like that, a really nice looking circle. I'll just leave that there for a moment so that you can have a little count or try and work out what I'm talking about if you're confused. And right, there we go. So next we need to fill in all of these quarters. The only thing that shouldn't be filled in is this little slot in the middle, and leave that central block there because you're going to need that eventually. You might as well leave it in. So we want all of this filled in. Right, let's go. So there you go, this is what you should now have. Nice big circle with lots of spawning spaces for the Enderman, and they're all within 31 blocks of that central area. So next up is we're going to prepare the drop chute a little bit so that when they do drop down, they're not just falling into oblivion and landing on top of this thing. We want to keep them organised. So at the bottom here, I'm going to add in 2 layers at the top here of slabs. So the first layer is just going to run across the top. Now this should technically be enough to keep them back, because the Endermen themselves are about 3 blocks tall, so this one would stop them from falling out. Having tested it though, they do somehow slip out. I think this collision thing adds a couple of problems with this kind of thing. So I'm going to put in an extra layer right there. So there's 2 layers like that, all the way across. I'm going to leave a little gap in at the front here as well so that I can get in and out as and when I need to. Right, so next is we need to do pretty much that all the way up. So because they're 3 tall, you can get away with just doing every other block like that, or even less. But you need to make sure that you've got at least every 3rd block covered so they don't come flying out all over the place. So yeah, that's kind of what you need to go do. So I'll just do up a couple of them on camera so that you can get the idea, just in case it's not clear what needs to be done. So that's that one. Right, this should get much easier now. And you need to do it on the other side as well, just to be clear. You know, you can't just do it on one side, they need to go on both sides here. So they need to be like that all the way up to the top. And that's just going to keep them from spreading out all over the place really. So let's get on with that. So there we go, that's the drop chute done now. I decided to go with every single line. You can just fill this in with glass if you wanted, or any solid blocks, it doesn't really matter. I just like to be able to see them falling down. I think it looks kind of cool. So next we're going to get back up on top, and we're going to build up a little bit of space around this area here. So we need to deal with this bit now. So this is where we're going to get the Enderman to fall down. So first things first, we're going to place that right in the middle, and this is where the Endermite is going to sit. Now if you haven't seen this method, if you spawn an Endermite when you're using an Enderpearl, the Enderman will actually attack it and they will go for it like crazy. So what we're going to do here is we're going to place it right in the middle, in a place where they can't get to, and make the easiest route to try and get to it through this area or this area. So if I put down a trapdoor on each of those and then put a too high lid just over this area, just a little bit out, sort of out to that space and to that space, then they'll try and come in using this as the easiest access route. So you'll see what I mean in a moment. I'll get all this sort of tidied up and organised so that we can see what I'm talking about. Right, so this is what we've got. We've got a little 9x9 here, centred on our central block, which we left in. And I've just knocked out those 2 blocks on either side, and that's where the Endermen are going to run in. And they're going to hit that block and fall down. Now, they're going to hit that block because they're going to believe that there's a trapdoor there that they can walk on, but the trapdoor's open, so we're using the trapdoor trick here. Right, next up is getting the endermite. Now, you've got about a 5% chance of actually getting one of these when you throw an ender pearl, so you should expect to throw 20 ender pearls before you get one, or more. I've done this a few times now, and it can be a little bit rare. So be ready with your minecarts and your rails and your bits and bobs. So personally, I'd have a couple of sort of rails going into there, organised, ready. I'm going to put some more down this side just in case. And I'm just going to throw the pearls back and forth across this rail. So wherever it turns up, I'm sort of ready to fence it in, because I don't want it to go out into the Enderman, because the Enderman will go absolutely mad. The first sign that you'll know about that you've got an endermite is that you'll suddenly have all of the Endermen on this platform right here, just wanting to get at it. Also, have your name tags at the ready, because you want to name it first before you do anything else. So you're going to get one, go back and forth, get an endermite, name it, get it in a cart, get it in the centre, and then basically this farm's done. So let's go to it. Right, there we go, I've got one. So let's get a name tag on it real quick. I'm calling it Boris. You see all these Endermen, they're going absolutely crazy. Go on, get in there. You know you want to. Because if you don't, you're going to get killed by this lot. They don't like you one bit. Now, I should say as well that the Endermite has to be spawned from a enderpearl throw. You can't just spawn one into the world for it to work. It has to be spawned from an enderpearl throw. Right, come on. Are you going to go in? Yes, he's in. Right, okay, so next. Let's get that like that or like that. I don't mind as long as it goes round and in. So it's a named endermite. It's sat... Oh, sugar, sugar, sugar. This is such a careful operation. Oh, it's so willful. Right, let's just see if I can shove you in the corner a bit further. Right, I mean that's not bad, that's not bad. It'll sit there forever, it doesn't matter that much. Right. Okay, so as you can see, the number of spawns up here has gone down dramatically, and that's mainly because they're all down below waiting to be killed. So the spawn cap is pretty much there. Right, brilliant. And that is it. It's now in place. I've tidied everything up. Now the difficult bit is going to be getting back down below. And yeah, let's just watch this for a moment or two. I'm sorry if this is lagging a little bit. My computer isn't the greatest computer in the world, and it's taking its strain right now. So as you can see, basically all of the Endermen from all the corners, almost, are sprinting into the centre here when they see the Endermite and going straight down below. Let's go down there and see what it's like. And wow, I mean, how do I get out of this? Okay, I'm just going to switch into game mode 3 and get out of this mess and switch back. Game mode 1. Right, so yeah, you see all of those? Let's give ourselves a sword. Doesn't matter what sword, because they've taken the 43 drop. So these guys should all be at half a heart. So when I swing, yeah, look at that. That's just lovely. Now, as soon as I kill them off, it releases the spawn cap again. So it's got more chance for spawning up top. So you can see all of these guys coming back in here. Let's just fill in that gap quickly before they, yeah, they take up a lot of space. Right, oh my goodness, get out of my face, go on. Just want to get that in there, right. So let's give that a moment or two. This is unbelievable spawn rates. So look at that, I've just gone and cleared it out and down they all come flying. So I'm just going to switch to game mode 0, whoops, which is the survival mode. So I'm at level 55. Now, ooh, one of them seems to have escaped somehow, but it's down to half a heart, so they're no challenge. You could give them a punch, but in 1.9 with a sweep attack, I mean, this is just lovely. And it doesn't take long to get your levels way up there. Now past level 30 it's kind of difficult to level up. My god, look at these things. Like I said, this is a crazy efficient farm. Really does the job. And let's just pick up some ender pearls as we go. Now you could actually set this to an auto kill mode by removing this bottom layer of blocks, and they'll just drop down and die on impact. But you know, I think it's a pretty good XP farm, and especially ender pearls. So I've just sort of spent a few minutes there. I've kept it all on camera. Look at all those ender pearls. Didn't have any before. Now I'm full up with them. My goodness. Now most of them aren't going to give you any problems because they can't see you. They might give you a kick if you get a little bit too close. Now if you're playing in 1.8 or if you've got console version or something like that, it's probably worth having some potions of harming on you, and then you can just throw them in there, they all die, and you grab up all of the XP and all of the drops. So there you have it, that's the farm. Right, so I thought we'd give this a little bit of a test. I've cleared out my inventory, I've given myself a few steaks and got a little chest here, and I've cleared all my levels as far as I could, and just thought I'd give this a few swings of the sword, see what we get in terms of XP and ender pearls. And that's 30. Now it looks like the slabbed floor in here seems to get the odd spawn on top of it, so it looks like they actually try and teleport out and they land up on here somewhere. So yeah, maybe be a little bit careful of that. If you've got the resources, it's really nice to do this in black stained glass, and it looks really amazing. You're just looking down into the void, the dark void. Okay, so how many stacks is that? That's 10, no, just short of 10 stacks of nether pearls and 30 levels, and that didn't take any length of time at all. So there you have it, people. Let's say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you've got any questions, leave me a comment, and if you enjoyed this, please do leave me a like. It's much appreciated. Thank you very much. Goodbye.